So let's just dig right into this final part 4 of the All In series that we've been in, and I don't apologize for not giving you a message last week because last week was just powerful. And so for those of you who may be watching this on our app or on YouTube, and you some of you reached out and asked where was last week's message, there wasn't one. There wasn't one because last week was just so powerful. The presence was here, and I just wanted to yield to the Spirit's presence and just let people worship and pray and just receive the breakthrough that they needed last week. So here we go, part 4 of this All In series. And so I know you need a little bit of a reminder because it's been 2 weeks since we talked about it. So I want to give you once again our theme verse for this series that we've been in. It comes from Jeremiah 29:11 through 13. You should know it. At least you know verse 11, but I really want you to know verses 12 and 13. So let's read it. Starting at verse 11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not disaster, to give you a future and a hope." And then verse 12 and 13, my favorite. It says, "In those days, when you pray, I will listen. If you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me." So one thing when I see these verses right here, one thing that I see throughout these verses is the promise of a beautiful relationship. God is promising us a beautiful relationship. I'm talking about a real relationship, not one of those surface level relationships. I'm talking about a real relationship. God says, when you pray, I will listen. It doesn't matter what you say in the prayer. It doesn't matter what you cannot even properly communicate. Whatever it is that is on your heart, God is saying, I'm listening. I'm in tune to you right now. That's the kind of relationship we're all looking for, because I know, if just being a little bit transparent, if you ask Pastor Tasha what's her biggest complaint about me personally, she would probably say that I need to listen better. She sometimes says some things, and then 5 minutes later I come back and repeat it in a question, and she'll say, "Didn't I just tell you that?" And so she would probably say that I need to listen better. And once you've been married as long as we have, I realize that now as a husband, my main job is just to keep her from saying, "Did you do the thing that I told you to do yesterday? Did you do that?" And I'm looking at her like, and in my mind, I'm saying, what thing is she talking about? And so my job is to try to listen as best as I can, but I fail at it many times. And so oftentimes she had to come back and say, "Well, did you do the thing that I told you not to do?" And I'm trying to think of something that I could say that will make it seem like I remember the thing that she told me to do, but I don't remember. But God promises us that he will hear every single word. And not only hear every single word, but remember everything that we tell him. We could have a conversation after service, and it may be a deep and intimate conversation, but I'm going to be real with you. 50% of it, I may not remember word for word, but God will remember everything that you say to him. He also said, "If you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me." It doesn't say, "If you look for me, you will find me." It says, "If you look for me wholeheartedly." That means with every part of your being, everything you got. If you look for me like that, you're going to find me. God is saying, look, if you really want to find me, if you really want to be all in for me, I'm right here. I'm right here. You don't have to look very far. And it doesn't matter what we may go through if we look for him wholeheartedly. It doesn't matter how we feel or how we think. If we look for him wholeheartedly, it doesn't matter where we go in life or how far we distance ourselves from him. If we look for him wholeheartedly, God says, you'll find me. Church, are you looking for God wholeheartedly, or are you just looking for him like we look for a missing sock? Well, I don't see it, so I might as well get another pair. God said, I want you to look for me with everything that you have. That's what a real relationship is like. That's what a real relationship does. And to be all in here at Life Words, many of you have submitted your form and saying that you're all in for our challenge, our 1-year challenge. But to be all in, we need those type of relationships to where we're fully committed to one another, to where we're all in wholeheartedly with one another. No matter what it is that we're going through, we're not just going to have these surface level relationships, but we're going to get to the heart of the matter. We're going to be all in. But too often, church, too often, we're not in relationships with one another. We're in what I like to call locationships. See, there's a difference between relationships and what I call locationships, and that's the title of today's message: locationships versus relationships. And so let's talk a little bit about locationships. Go with me now to the book of Exodus, and we're going to go back and talk about Moses again. The book of Exodus, chapter 33, and we're going to read verses 12 through 23. Starting at verse 12, it says, "One day Moses said to the Lord, 'You have been telling me, take these people up to the promised land. But you haven't told me whom you will send with me. You have told me I know you by name, and I look favorably upon you.' Verse 13, 'If this is true, that you look favorably on me, let me know your ways so that I may understand you more fully and continue to enjoy your favor. And remember that this is your very own nation. This is your very own people.'" Moses basically saying, look, I didn't sign up for this. These your people that you gave me to lead. So why is it my job to take care of? These are your people. You know, it's like when people start to get on our nerves, or a family member gets on our nerves. I know Pastor Tasha said all the time, go see about your daughter. She's no longer our daughter in this moment. Go see about your daughter. So that's what Moses is doing. Go see about your people. Because right now they're crying and moaning and complaining because we've been circling around in this wilderness for 40 years, and all we've been eating is manna, which we don't even know what it is, but this is all we have. And I'm hearing all these cries and complaints. These are your people, God. Go see about your people. And it says in verse 14, the Lord replied, "I will personally go with you, Moses, and I will give you rest. Everything will be fine for you." Now that should have been enough for Moses right there. God just said, look, I hear your complaints. I know you're stressed out, but I'm going to give you rest, and everything is going to be fine, Moses. It's going to be fine. If God told you everything is going to be fine, that should be enough for you to just rest easily that night. But look at verse 15. Then Moses said, "If you don't go personally with us," what did God just say? But here he is, still having to get out that last word. "If you don't personally go with us, don't make us leave this place. How will anyone know that you look favorably on me and on your people if you don't go with us?" God just said, "I'm going with you, and everything will be fine." But here's Moses still complaining, still crying, because he's in what's called a locationship and not a true relationship. It says, "For your presence among us sets your people and me apart from all other people on the earth." Verse 17, then the Lord replied to Moses, "I will indeed," reminding you, Moses, what I just said a few minutes ago, "I will indeed do what you have asked. For I look favorably on you, and I know you by name." Moses then responded, "Then show me your glorious presence." See, now Moses needs proof. Or basically he's saying, or Lord, show me some receipts. Show me some receipts of your goodness. Show me some receipts that you're going to be with us. I need some proof right about now. And then verse 19, the Lord replied, "I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will call out I will call out my name, Yahweh." We just sung that song. Yahweh before you. For I will show mercy to anyone I choose, and I will show compassion to anyone I choose. Verse 20, but you may not look directly at my face, for no one may see me and live. Verse 21, the Lord continued, look, stand near me on this rock. As my glorious presence passes by, I will hide you in the crevice of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand and let you see me from behind, but my face will not be seen. And so the key word in this entire passage that we just read is the word pass. The word pass. See, God never told Moses that he was going to remain in that place. That's what Moses wanted. Moses wanted God to remain in this place, but God never promised, I'm going to stay here in this moment with it. God told Moses, my presence will pass by, meaning I will show up, but I'm going to keep moving. You can stay here, Moses, but my presence is going to show up, but keep moving. You see, in verse 14, God says, everything will be fine. And that should have been enough assurance for Moses, all the assurance that he needed to know that where God was about to take him, where God was about to send him, God had already been there. God had already been there. You see, what we have to understand, church, and this is our first key point today, while we are here, God is already there. Come on, I need someone to understand that. While we are here in our mess, while we are here in our time of trouble, in our time of stress, in our time of worry, God is already there. Where is there? God is already in the solution. While we're in the problem, God is already in the solution. And so we know Moses had some doubts about his ability to lead, because he had some speaking issues. He just wasn't sure that he was the one to be called, and not knowing what was next for him, that was likely scary. You ever had a feeling that you were being called into something, but it was something that was unknown to you, or you didn't know what the next step entailed? It's kind of scary to take those steps of faith. And I'm sure Moses was thinking, you know what, we got a good thing right now. We got a really good thing right now, God, and I really don't want to mess this up. You know, I get to come up on this mountain with you whenever I like, and I can talk with you. I can commune with you. This is pretty good. I have this intimate time with you. Why we got to move from this place? If this is the best that it gets, I'm fine with that, God. But God was saying, hey, my presence, it cannot stay here. My presence is going to pass. And see, the problem that the problem was that Moses wasn't allowing himself to be in relationship with God. He was rather in a locationship. You see, if I'm in a locationship with you, if I'm in a locationship with you, the relationship is fine as long as there's some proximity to you. As long as you're near when I need you, as long as I can reach out to you and you're right there, then we're good. Then we're good. As long as when I pick up my phone and I call you and you answer, then we're good. As long as I'm open up a new business or have a new idea and you're there to support me, then we're good. Because we have this locationship. But as soon as things change, our relationship changes. Oh, you cannot be there. I understand that you were out of town. I understand that you had other obligations, but you weren't there when I needed you. You weren't in close proximity to me when I wanted you to be. And so now our relationship is strained. Today's church culture has a locationship problem. You say, we say, I'm all in as long as my needs are met. As long as the church is meeting my needs, I'm all in. I'm all in as long as they sing the songs that I like. But as soon as they play something from a genre of a music, or they're not playing the gospel, they playing the other Christian music, and I don't really care for that. So I'm all in until they do that. I'm all in until the pastor don't preach a message that moves me. As long as Pastor Trey, as long as Pastor Tasha, as long as Minister Mike just continue to move me with their messages, I'm all in. But I wanted to let you know that's not our job. That's not our job to move you with a message. Preaching, people don't understand this. Preaching is the least of my responsibilities as a pastor. The least of my responsibility. My main job is to lead you. Lead you by teaching and equipping you to live a life that is pleasing to God and equip you to share the gospel. It's called discipleship. If I can equip you and teach you and guide you into making more disciples, then I'm not doing my job as a pastor. If I'm just up here entertaining you, giving you a good word, and you like, ooh, Pastor Trey preached a good message today, and you go home and tell somebody that Pastor Trey preached a good message, and they say, well, really? What did he preach about? I don't know, but it was good. It happens. It happens. But don't be all in if that's the reason. Some of us, we say, I'm all in as long as I get the chance to fulfill my calling. As long as Life Words Church is a place where I can fulfill my calling, I'm all in. Wait, Pastor Trey, you mean to tell me this isn't a place where I can fulfill my calling? Nope, it's not. It's not. And I want to explain that and just give me a moment. You see, the church is called the bride of Jesus. That's what the church is called. So why are you looking, come on, I need you to hear me. Why are you looking to fulfill yourself with someone else's bride? You're here to fulfill what you need with someone else's bride. We are supposed to be, if this is the bride of Jesus, we are supposed to be the bridesmaids. We are supposed to be the ones taking care of the church, honoring the bride, making sure that she's equipped and prepared for the return of the groom. That's what our role is here at any church, Life Words at any church. And it's by doing that first. If by preparing the bride for the bridegroom, if by doing that first, our calling gets fulfilled, then that's just extra icing on the cake, church. But it should not be our main objective to be here. Oh, this is a place where I can preach. This is a place where I can lead and get a title. No, this is not that place. This is a place where you can prepare the bride for the bridegroom. And I've had a lot of conversations, church. Lord have mercy. I've had a lot of conversations with people telling me I'm called to sing. I'm called to preach. I'm called to prophesy. I'm called to lead in some capacity. And when I talk to them about being a part of this ministry, is Life Words Church a place where I can fulfill that calling? Is Life Words Church a place where I can fulfill my calling to preach, my calling to sing? Is Life Words Church that place? Absolutely not, if that's your motivation. Absolutely not, if that's your motivation. The greatest calling on your life is to prepare the church for the return of Christ. And if you truly want to be all in, don't leave when things don't go your way. Come on. We see it all the time. People leave church because things haven't gone their way. Don't take time off because you're just not feeling church. I've talked to people who said that, I'm just not feeling church right now. I may be back someday, but right now, because of the current climate of culture, I'm just not feeling church right now. You see, that's a locationship. As long as church as long as you're feeling church, I'm all good. But as soon as I feel something that doesn't feel right to me, then I'm out. I'm out altogether. Don't stay away when you're going through a crisis. Come on. Do not stay away when you're going through crisis. Come on, I've seen so many people, my marriage is a little bit shaky right now. I'm going to stay away from the church until we're back on good ground. That's the main time to be here. Or I'm going through something right now, my job is stressing me out. I'm just in a bad mood right now. I'm going to stay away from the church. That's the best time to be here. We're not designed to do life alone. That's when you're going through a crisis, that's when you need to be all in even the more. Do not stay away in tough times. That's when you press in even more, because we cannot have these locationships. That just when things are going good in my life, just because right now I'm in a good mood, just because right now I'm satisfied with where things are in my life, okay, I'll give the church my time. But no, we have to be all in even when we don't feel like it, even if it doesn't look right to us, even if it doesn't sound right to us. We still have to be all in, because in order for it to get better, your presence is necessary. And that's what God is telling Moses right now. In order for things to get better, in order for you to reach this promised land, I need you to be all in. I need you to be in relationship with me. I don't need you to just stay in this moment, because storms are going to happen in this moment if you remain here. But as long as you follow my presence, if I'm here now and I continue to move, if you move with me, I promise you, you're gonna receive your fulfillment. You're gonna reach that promised land. And so we have to get to a point, God, wherever you're moving, I want to move with you. I know things are good right now. Come on, last week here at Life Words Church, I didn't want to leave because the presence was so good, but I knew God was not going to stay here. It was time to move. And so there are going to be times in your life where you could just feel God's presence over your life. Blessings on blessings on blessings on blessings is happening for you. And all of a sudden, they stop. That's because we relished in the moment. We relaxed in the moment. We got comfortable. And God said, my presence has passed. You can move with me, but I cannot stay in this moment. And now let's move on and talk about relationships. Let's talk a little bit about relationships. See, a locationship, and here's another key point for you today. See, a locationship will have you disconnecting from what's healthy and connecting to the unhealthy. A locationship will have you disconnecting from what's healthy and connecting to what's unhealthy. Come on, you ever left the church? You ever disconnected from something that was healthy, and all of a sudden, as soon as you disconnected from something that was healthy for you, here come the unhealthy. I knew that church thing wasn't going to work out. Come on with me, let's go party. Come on with me, let's go have a sip. Come on with me, let's go smoke something. Come. As soon as you leave what's healthy, unhealthy will be waiting for you right outside the door. Let's go with me now to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. We're going to read verse 14. It says here, Paul said, don't team up with those who are unbelievers. How can the righteous be a partner with wickedness? How can light live with darkness? Let's read that again. Don't team up with those who are unbelievers. Can we just marinate on that for a moment? Don't team up with those who are unbelievers. If we are at a point to where we're so desperate to get what we want out of life that we're teaming up with people who don't share our faith, who won't pray with you when times get hard, who won't uplift you and won't call on the name of Jesus, then we're going to see the enemy start to infiltrate that relationship. It says, don't team up with people who are unbelievers. And how can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? How can light live in darkness? So when the church locationship doesn't work out, the worst thing that you can do is enter into another locationship with someone who doesn't believe in God, who's someone who's far from God, someone who's doubting God's realness. That's the worst thing you can do. You got to be able to answer the question: is someone pushing me further away from God, or if someone is pushing me further away from God, what are they pushing me into? If you're telling me not to be all in at Life Words Church, if you're telling me that I don't need the church, what are you pushing me into? Because clearly you're leading me away from God. So what is it that you're leading me into? And so we have to ask that. We have to ask ourselves that question for one, and then we have to ask other people that same question. If you're telling me that I don't need the church, if you're telling me not to believe in this God, what are you leading me into? Is it better than a life of faith? Is it better than the joy I once felt about the church? The joy that I feel when I think about what God has done for me? Is it better than that? Because if it's not, then you're leading me into something that's destructive. But in a real relationship, church, in a real relationship, even when I don't get my way, and even as a pastor, sometimes I don't get my way all the time here. I have to answer to people. I have to answer to trustees. I have to answer to overseers. I don't always get my way, but even when I don't get my way, even when they don't sing the song that I like, when we don't play the song that I particularly like, even when it's an off Sunday for Pastor Trey or off Sunday for Minister Meyer or Pastor Tosh, even then I'm going to draw nearer to someone who won't let me give up on the bride of Christ. You see, even when I don't feel it for myself, you need to draw into someone who's going to uplift you and is going to keep you near to the church, who's going to keep you near to the bride of Christ. Even when my heart is broken, I'm not going to look for those locationships to make me feel better. I'm going to draw nearer to the real relationships that I build. And that's why it's so important here at Life Word Church that we are a relational church. That we focus on relationships. And as I conclude, I want to conclude by going. I hope I gave this on the screen, Frank, because I just added this morning. Philippians chapter 2, verse 1 through 11. Philippians chapter 2, verse 1 through 11. It says here, it says, "Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Any comfort from his love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Then make me truly happy by agreeing," here's that word again, "make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, working together with one mind and one purpose." It says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but also take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Verse 7, instead he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being, and he appeared in human form. He humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. Verse 9, therefore, God elevated him to the place of highest honor and gave him the name above all other names, that at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue declare that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. That's relationship. It's so much better than a locationship. When we don't think too highly of ourselves, when we're willing to take interest in others' needs and others' desires and others' talents that other people have, when we uplift one another, when we encourage one another, that's when we see relationships flourish in the church. See, but too often, we're leaning on these locationships, and we've been blinded thinking that these locationships that we have are actually relationships, when they're not. Life Word Church is a place where we don't do locationships. We're about to kick off soon. This week, actually, registration for our life groups begin. Because in these life groups, we're developing relationships instead of locationships. See, when you just show up on Sunday, you're in locationship. But when you are a part of a life group, when we can call on you throughout the week just to check on you and have conversation with you, then we're in relationship with you. When I know your favorite color, when I know your birthday, when I know your likes and your dislikes, we are in relationship with one another. But if I just see your name on a list and just see your face from 10 a.m. to noon on Sundays, then we're just in a locationship. And I'm here to tell you that's not what we're here for. That's not what I'm here for. I want to build relationships, and to be all in here at Life Word Church, you got to be all in for relationships. I've told someone this week, if all you want is that locationship, then you're in the wrong place. It's not that we're going to get all in your business or anything like that, but when it comes to loving on you, when it comes to serving you, when it comes to really getting to know you and getting to know your heart, then you're in the right place, because we are about relationships here. When you're going through something, this is a place where you call on, because we're going to be there for you. See, Miss Rhonda, who just had hip replacement surgery, she hasn't been a part of the church long, but she knew that, hey, I'm about to have surgery. Here, she handed me last week, here's my son's phone number. If I can't answer the phone, you can call on him to check on how I'm doing, because she knows this is a place that loves me, and I trust them. We're in relationship with one another. So I want them to know how I'm doing. I want them to check on me, and we're going to do that. See, that's what relationships, if she was just in locationship with us, she would just say, I'm having surgery. I'll be out for the next few weeks. I'll see y'all in about a month. And that would be it. But no, as we have a relationship with her, we're praying for her. We're calling on her son to check and see how the surgery went. That's what relationships are all about. We're kicking off life groups, and lady, she's doing her life group, the paint and praise. And it was sometimes last semester in our life groups, I would be in my office, and she would be preparing for her life group, and then I would hear people start to come in, and all of a sudden I just hear laughing. I hear people just being happy to see one another, and I go and peek in the room, and they're just having a wonderful good time because they're in relationship. You see, but if they were in locationship, they would only see each other once a week on Sundays at 10 o'clock, and that's it. But because relationships are built, come on, that's what God desires. He desires for us to be in relationship with one another, because he desires to be in relationship with us. He doesn't just want to hear from us each night as we get on our knees and pray. He said, let's have a relationship. Let's keep this line of communication open all day long. Let me be a part of your life. Let me be a part of the life that you don't want me to see, but I see them anyway. Let me be a part of that. Bring me into every area of your work. When you look for me wholeheartedly, come on, even our students, bring me into the school with you. Come on. I know what you see on a daily basis. I know what you experience at school on a daily basis. Bring me into that world. Bring me in, and I'm looking at Noelle right now with the gifts that are on her, and I know how her mother is raising her to be unashamed of the gospel. Noelle, I want to encourage you to bring Jesus into your school. Don't be ashamed. I know what you see on a daily basis. I know what you see. Markayla, the same way. I know what you see on a daily basis, but bring the love of Jesus into that school every day. You will see relationships start to flourish. You will see healthy relationships start to begin by what you do, by your level of obedience. I'm a part of, at Intercom High School, I'm one of the, I'm volunteered to be a part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They have a monthly huddle, and it's open to all students. They have a monthly huddle on Wednesday mornings before class starts. And their first huddle, they had three students where they came in, we prayed over them, they had a quick devotion, and then they went on to class. We had the huddle again this past month, and we gave each of those three students who showed up, we gave them the challenge to bring Jesus into your classrooms. Bring Jesus into every one of your relationships, or your so-called relationships. Tell them to come with you. And we saw those three students now brought back more students, and we had 36 students this past month in the huddle. And I'm declaring, I'm believing that over the next few months, as more students decide, you know what, I'm going to share the good news within my circle of friends. No longer will we be in locationship with one another. We're going to be in relationship with one another. I'm declaring that we're going to break 100 students coming in early on a Wednesday morning, worshiping God, honoring God in a place that they see everything except God. They walk in the library, they see books that are totally opposite than what they hear on Sunday mornings. They walk around campus and they can't even go to the bathroom without the scent of marijuana just going up their nostrils. They are seeing everything but Jesus from 8 a.m. to whatever time school ends. And then it's up to us as parents, as family, to now pull all that mess out of them because of what's been placed into them. It's because of the locationship mindset that goes on in our schools. And it's not just in our schools, but it's in our community. So Life Words Church, I want to leave you with this challenge today. Let's be all in for relationships. Let's be all in for relationships. We are in desperate need of true relationships like never before. Like never before. We turn on TV, we watch the news, and all we see is locationships. As long as this politician says what I like to hear, they got my vote. As long as this TV show pleases me, I'll continue to watch. As long as my circle of friends are there when I want them to be, then I'm good with them. But God is saying, look, time out for the locationships. Because not every friend, not every situation is going to be in close proximity to you. Sometimes my presence is going to be felt so strong right next to you. Just like last Sunday, my presence is going to be right there, but my presence has to move. And you can move with me, or you can stay in this moment if you want to have that location mindset. But to be in relationship with me, that means you have to walk with me. You have to talk with me. We're on this journey together. We're not going to stay in one place. We're going to walk this journey together. So if you want to be in true relationship with God, you have to move with him. And so that's your challenge for this week. To not just stay where you are just because it's comfortable, but to move with the Spirit. And sometimes it's uncomfortable because we don't know what God's next step is. We don't know where God is taking us. I had no clue God was taking me from Georgia back to California. And that seemed scary at the time. Your next step with God may seem a little bit scary because you don't know what's around that corner. But just as God told Moses, everything will be fine, for I am with you. That should be enough for us to take that next step. That should be just enough for us to say, yes, God. I will trust you. I will serve you. I will obey you. I will go to the ends of the earth with you. God, as long as I'm with you, as long as I'm in your presence, God, I will go wherever you say to go. I do not want to remain in this place. I want to be with you. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we come to you now.